We are GOLDIVY.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what create space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a GOLDIVY production. Vulnerable story alert. This message is for any person struggling with the embarrassment of excessive underarm sweating and or underarm odor. I've never shared this before, so bear with me. I am a big sweater. I swear I sweat when I think. I used to carry deodorant in my purses, car, backpacks. I did not go anywhere without deodorant, and I applied it dozens of times a day. I haven't been able to wear colorful t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, or sweatshirts since I was 16 due to excessive underarm sweating. And recently, one of my armpits started to smell like onions anytime it sweat. See, I told you this is a vulnerable message, but I wanted to let you know about a treatment I found that has changed my life. This treatment is called miraDry and is for your underarms that greatly reduces sweating and odor. I have had one treatment so far, and I am a new woman. I can officially wear colored shirts without pit stains for the first time in decades, and my armpits no longer smell. I also no longer wear deodorant. I simply don't need it. miraDry uses thermal energy that targets and eliminates the sweat glands in your underarm. Let me repeat that. You just need 1 to 2 treatments. It is the only FDA-cleared treatment that can dramatically reduce underarm sweat by addressing the root cause of excessive sweat and its accompanying odor, not the symptoms. So if you're like me and have had to worry about pit stains from your sweat, excessive sweating even when resting, or planning your day around sweating, miraDry is your solution. Not only has miraDry erased my sweat problem, but also my armpit hair. I used to have to shave every single day. I am walking proof that miraDry works. Once the glands are eliminated, they will not grow back. I absolutely love my miraDry experience, and it was made affordable with a no-interest payment plan. You can find a clinic that provides miraDry all over the U.S., so head to miraDry.com to see where the closest location is for you, and don't wait another minute feeling embarrassed about your body. And they have these wonderful patient concierges who will answer all your underarm questions about the treatment. Thank you for letting me share this vulnerable information with you. I am walking proof that miraDry is a life-changing treatment. Nobody should be embarrassed about their bodies, period. And if you want more information, miraDry services will be linked in the show notes, and you can also message me directly to chat more about it.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every episode of Ivy Unleashed is dedicated to empowering you to take ownership of your health. And what it really comes down to is prioritizing your mental health.
We've both seen the beauty and growth that therapy can bring and are thrilled to partner with BetterHelp to allow you the opportunity to feel heard and seen by a professional. The National Alliance on Mental Health reports that 155 million people live in a designated mental health professional shortage area, and BetterHelp is working to close that gap.
I've personally used BetterHelp and loved it because it was all online, making it super convenient. The biggest piece for me was how affordable it is. I was able to choose the therapist that met my needs. I came in with wanting to work on childhood trauma and anxiety, and it was unbelievable to see how many options I had with all the different backgrounds of therapists.
With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness. And sometimes we can't see our own patterns and behaviors until we talk them out and get an unbiased perspective.
It's really nice to have someone who doesn't know you and has the professional background to help you thrive in your daily life. It has made the world of a difference with every relationship in my life, including the one with myself.
To get started, all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire about your needs and preferences and choose your therapist out of the options they give you. You can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. Also, you can switch therapists at no additional charge until you find the right fit for you.
The best investment you can make is in yourself. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/goldivy. That's betterhelp.com/goldivy.
Take the first step to inner peace and freedom today. And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are so happy you're tuning in, especially because you saw the title of this episode. And we're going to be talking about a tough subject. We're going to be talking about body image today. I posted a reel the other day that got some traction because I feel like I'm kind of saying something that not a lot of people say out loud.
But think it.
And so I first of all need to give a little warning that I'm very fired up about this because it matters. What we say matters. It's very important to me. I'm a mother. I have 3 kids. And the cycle of the negative talk about bodies, the comments about bodies, I have some big opinions about it, and I am not afraid to share it. So I'm warning you that I'm pretty fired up. Brooke will probably have more of a gentle approach to this topic, but I've got like zero tolerance for this.
Yeah, and we want to be mindful of those listening who do have a past with eating disorders, with their own trauma. And so listen at your own risk. If you need to skip this episode, we fully support it. Take care of you. And we want you to take care of you. So please listen mindfully.
The intent of this episode is to create awareness because although we know, we all have body image issues or people have said things about our bodies that we've internalized, it's really important that we realize how body obsessed our society is and how normalized this has become. A lot of us don't even realize how often we're saying something about someone's body or our own body. And that's a huge part of the awareness we want to bring attention to today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that hits all groups, right? It hits moms. It hits young women. You think about whether you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, a young adult. As women, our culture glorifies a certain image. And there's a lot of mental health that goes behind it, psychology. And although that is the work of a therapist, we feel as coaches that this is something we hear every day. And in our own personal lives, we're hearing our friends, our family, whether they're commenting on their own bodies, our bodies, it doesn't feel good. Yeah. And it has a ripple effect. What you say is caught. It's caught by your kids. It's caught by your subconscious, your conscious. We think about how the brain works. We are constantly thinking about our bodies and how
it's men too. Like it's not just women. I mean,
that's true.
It's a big part of it, but it affects men too. And men say things too. And so it's really all of us. It's all age groups. It's all genders. It doesn't matter. It touches, like you said, all of us.
And why it does matter is that mental health piece, right? And when we have a positive body image, we're more likely to have higher confidence, higher self-esteem. We can put our brain power and our energy behind things we want to be doing, things we want to be thinking of, cultivating more peace. Who doesn't want inner peace? And so as you're listening, think about how you think about your body, what you are saying to your kids, comments you're making. And if this is something you're really struggling with, there's no shame in getting help.
Yeah. And we got some information from the National Eating Disorders Collaboration. And I think it's just important to hear some definitions because it creates even more awareness around oh, I actually do that. I thought I was in a pretty good spot, but I must really think about my body more than I thought I did. And so they put a couple definitions on, if you are to have a positive body image, that means you have higher self-esteem, self-acceptance, and you have a healthy outlook and you have healthy behaviors when it comes to your body. So you're in tune with your body, you respond to the needs of your body, without judgment. And then body dissatisfaction occurs when a person has persistent negative thoughts and feelings about their body. That means that there's internal emotions and there's cognitive processes that are influenced by external factors, such as pressure to meet certain appearance ideals. And body dissatisfaction can drive people to engage in unhealthy weight control behaviors, particularly disordered eating. So that puts them at a higher risk of getting of having an eating disorder. And some of those tendencies are repetitive dieting behaviors, excessive exercising, tying your appearance to your self-worth, checking behaviors. So you're looking in the mirror for sizing or you're pinching your skin, spending excessive time on yourself for appearance, like more than most people or something like that, negative self-talk, and then body avoidance, like, oh, because I've gained weight, I don't want to go to the social gathering where there's food. I don't want people judging that I'm eating, or I
won't go somewhere where I have to be in a swimsuit.
Exactly.
It's like your quality of life is affected so dramatically.
Mm-hmm. And something we really want to talk about is why this happens, because we do want to share some empathy in that this is what we have seen and heard. Of course, we have body image issues. Like when you think about starting from puberty, right? We just naturally, our bodies start changing and it's different than your friends. Like for me, my friends started getting boobs and I was like, what the hell? Like,
where are mine?
Yes, they never came, but it's all right. But it's just something to think about is like, that naturally happens, right? Like bodies start changing and we start noticing, we feel weird about it. And then it just gets worse because people make comments on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can all think of our childhood and how it felt when someone said something about something that was changing in us. It doesn't feel good. And I think we get used to how that feels because it has happened so much in our life. And then we perpetuate the cycle. But in reality, if you remember back then how bad that felt, or like you probably had some like internal signals that said like, I don't like that when you talk about my body because I hated it.
Yeah, because I'm sure people commented on your body, just like people commented on my body. Like as generations become more aware, like we are at a better spot than we used to be. Back then, it was just what you did. Like right now, I'm watching The Marvelous Life of Miss Maisel on Amazon Prime, which I highly recommend. And last night, I'm like, I just want a funny show. Right, so I'm watching it, and it's from way back in the day. And every day since this girl was young, she measures her thighs, her waist, her bust to make sure she's portionate. And her friend is like reading this journal, like, you did this every day? I'm like, here I am trying to watch something funny. We're recording on this topic. And I'm like, and it's just so normal. But you see her, she looks great. She's got big boobs. She's got a tiny waist. She looks beautiful. And then you think as a young girl watching that, oh, maybe if I do that every day, it'll help me. It like that's how it perpetuates is it's not talked about. And I think it is now more than ever. But watching this show, our brains immediately go to, oh, that's a good idea. If she looks that way, we've gotten comments about me talking about what I eat. And although I eat for a very specific way, and now as I'm growing up, in quotes, I'm eating this way because it makes me feel good. But for someone who might have a body image issue or disordered eating, they view it as, oh, if I do that exact thing, if I starve myself, I could look like that. Mm-hmm. And I think it comes down to self-worth.
Yeah.
Of how are your actions and how are your thoughts making you feel and wanting to do something differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, we grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. And during those times, the models looked stick thin. Like if you watched Victoria's Secrets, like nobody even had big boobs barely. It was just like, this is the ideal woman. And so of course we saw those things and that's how we think. And with social media, it's important to acknowledge, okay, I'm looking at these certain pictures, but what am I saying to myself in my brain when I'm looking at them? Am I comparing? Is it motivating me to like go outside and go for a run because it feels good? Or am I going for a run because I could never look like that?
Do I feel less than by watching their content? Mm-hmm. And there's the comparison trap of social media, of the way they're acting. And I think what's tough just from personal experience is watching these people that have killer bodies, right? That have quote unquote the ideal body. And then they post what they eat and their actions and what they're drinking. And I've worked so hard to take my health back, not in a body standpoint, but just in feeling well and how people can look like that by treating their bodies that way. And that's a vicious cycle too, right? So I'm not even saying just like, I feel bad about myself. It's you're seeing what other people are doing and whether you are aware of it or not, it's impacting you. Mm-hmm. I look at people, I compare, I have to have hard guardrails on my social media time. Mm-hmm.
You all know we're always sharing our favorite items that improve our health and help us feel better. So wait until you hear about this. Nano Fit Water.
NanoFit water is alkaline water, which means it helps neutralize the acid in your body. It's triple filtered, which reduces unwanted chemicals and toxins. It's supercharged with nanotized oxygen, which hydrates the body at a cellular level. And it's all natural, meaning there are zero additives or artificial flavors.
My biggest reason for adding NanoFit into my routine is for the performance and recovery benefits. As a runner, a faster pace and quicker recovery is what I'm after, and this water is a game changer. I feel better before, during, and after both cardio and strength training with the added oxygen and hydration benefits.
And I'm here for the gut health and skin benefits. Alkaline water has colon cleansing properties, reduces the acid in my body, and the fact that NanoFit water is triple filtered, it's going to help with my gut health. And when my gut is on point, so is my skin.
I'm against the waste of standard plastic water bottles, but NanoFit water is in 100% eco-friendly aluminum bottles that are shipped to your door by Amazon, taking the shopping hassle out. No more water bottles taking up a ridiculous amount of space in your cart or having to carry the heavy weight into your car and home.
You're about to see NanoFit everywhere. They're in Starbucks, Kroger, hospitals, and making their way to stores near you. We're thrilled to share its health benefits with you today, so you can ship NanoFit water right to your door.
NanoFit's mission is to help you feel better, function better, and sleep better, which we all want. So head on over to nanofitwater.com to order your case. It'll ship through Amazon, and use code GOLDIVY for a discount.
Fit your lifestyle with NanoFit water.
Brooke, what do you think everyone wants more of?
Energy.
What do you think most people are hoping to come out of 2023 with?
Feel more confident, be an example for others, actually have the self-discipline to take care of themselves.
Yes, exactly. Because we hear the need for it and we want to help you get in the best shape of your life, we created Move with GOLDIVY, our virtual workout platform.
Our dream has been to create accessible, affordable, and effective workouts that you can do anytime, anywhere, designed to hold you accountable and get you the results you need.
You can pick any workout you want at any time, but if you do want a plan that alternates muscle groups and leaves your body feeling energized and strong, we have a weekly plan that you can follow to take the guesswork out.
It's easy to navigate and packed with all kinds of workouts that will help you strengthen, trim, pump up, tone, energize, de-stress, all of the things we want our body to feel. It's within Move.
Don't forget to mention the resources we offer. As a member of Move with GOLDIVY, you'll be a part of our exclusive Ivy League community, where we share our top wellness resources on things like meal planning, gut health hacks, time management, and more.
And because you listen to the Ivy Unleashed podcast, we want to offer you all of this for only $20 a month, cheaper than any monthly membership you'll find.
Not only that, you'll get a free trial week to test it out.
And if you need more incentive to start prioritizing you, here's our favorite part. Your movement matters. Each month, 10% of your membership will be donated to support the mental health of those in need.
So head on over to goldivyhealthco.com/move or find the link within the show notes of this episode and sign up today. Stop putting yourself in the back burner. Snag your spot and reap the benefits that you deserve to feel this year.
It's your time. Move for your health, move for your confidence, move for your mental clarity, move with GOLDIVY.
Yeah, and I think something that we really want to clarify is exactly what Brooke's saying is, we're on social media and we post a lot and we want you to know our intentions behind what we're doing. Mm-hmm. This is for you to thrive and feel good, and especially with your mental health. That's why we're talking about this. Is like, if we are posting something that we're eating, it's to nourish your body. It has nothing to do with your weight at all. And when we, 90s and 2000s growing up, what did we see all the time? Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, whatever, like smaller meals, smaller this, track your this, eat less, eat less, eat less. And there was just this Dove commercial that came out that was like just showing how this is perpetuating in our society too, where this poor little girl is doing exactly what you said. She's like tracking how much she weighs and putting in a journal instead of like being in her room, journaling about the boy she thought she was cute. She's journaling about how she wants to be smaller, and then she ends up in treatment for an eating disorder. And it's heartbreaking because what she saw and what she was around, what she was exposed to, created these feelings inside her. And these kids, their brains are forming. They are learning what's important. They are learning what gets attention. They are learning what to talk about. They are learning what gets celebrated, right? They walk into a room with their mom and their friends are like, look how skinny you look. Of course she's going to want to be skinnier. You know, they're talking about how they all went to Weight Watchers and the scale. Of course she's going to focus on the scale. And so it's stuff that's so normalized because, you know, sometimes part of losing weight is getting healthier.
Right. And people, you know, with our clients, they want to hear that. The amount of women I speak to that are like, I want to walk in the room and people notice I look different. And maybe that's different because your efforts are celebrated and, you know, they can tell that you're looking healthy. And I think it depends on exactly what's being said. Right. So it's not to say that you shouldn't celebrate getting healthy, but you also shouldn't be commenting on other people's body. Tell them they look beautiful and call it a damn day.
Well, and even that, like, I do think, okay, if you're going to Weight Watchers with a grown-up and you talk about your weight with the grown-up privately, it is very different than when you walk in the room with your daughter or your son, right? And that is huge. And that's something that I really want to challenge every adult with is if there are kids in the home, they can hear you. If they are anywhere in the vicinity of you, they can hear you and they know what's important to you by what you're doing.
And it's not only your own kids.
Right.
Like if you don't have kids, you probably have nieces and nephews. You're probably a member of society that's out and about.
And it's even like joking. Like I know you've had situations in my house where I'm like, Brooke, we don't say that. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it. And it's not even that bad, but it's just that I don't want the focus on our bodies about anything. And you never know what words you're going to say that are going to stick with the kids forever because we all have it. We grew up and someone said something one time to us and it is still with us, which is a lot of pressure as a mom, a parent, to know that what you say matters, but it does matter and it can truly change the trajectory of their lives. And I think we need to take that seriously. I mean, every person we have on Ivy Unleashed says something about how they didn't feel enough. They didn't feel worthy enough. It was their childhood. It was their childhood. It was their childhood. So what you say around kids matters. They are like sponges and we need to protect them. And I want to encourage everybody to think about who you needed when you were a kid. What do you wish someone said to you? What do you wish someone asked you about instead of commenting on your body? What kind of adult can you be, especially around little kids and even not little kids, like teenagers? And I just think something that we underestimate is that we can talk about literally anything else besides how you look. It is not that important. Like it is, you know, and people notice, yes, like my kids will be like, oh, where are you going, Mom? When I'm like dressed up or something, they notice, but then we quickly talk about something that matters more. Like, what are you passionate about? Oh, you're 8. You know, what are you thinking about when you get older? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Or how was your trip? Or how's second grade? You know, what's your favorite part about your day today? You know, there are so many more important things to focus on rather than what somebody is wearing, how somebody looks, because it never makes us feel anything deep down in our soul, like uplifting or inspiring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you're an adult. I remember when I moved back from Florida to Minnesota and I was sick and I'd lost a lot of weight. And in college, I ate, I partied, I lived my best life. And then I made a complete 180 with my health and losing weight was an effect of that. And when I came home, everyone commented on how different I looked. Oh my gosh. I'm like, was I fat before? Like, why are you commenting on my body? Or even people would be like, you're looking really thin. Like, are you telling me I look sick?
Like it never feels good.
Because I am insecure about how terrible I feel.
Well, right. And some people want to be told those things, but like they think they would want that. And it doesn't feel good either. It means like you're saying I don't look good. You're saying I'm too thin. Like that doesn't feel good either. Like none of it feels good. And it's also none of your business to talk to me about it.
Yeah. Ask how I'm doing. And if I want to talk about my health journey and losing weight, like that's on me. That's something I can talk about. And spinning it into a positive light, I think is so important when we're talking about these issues because it is self-worth. We tie our image to our worthiness, to being liked, being valued. And it is such a vicious cycle that you're right. It does start from a very young age. So what can we do now? You can talk to yourself a lot nicer and your kids, the kids around you will pick up with that. So by just spinning that positive self-talk, you're crowding out the negativity. And that takes A, awareness, and B, the intention of wanting to do it, wanting to have a better relationship with your body, which who doesn't?
Right. And it might feel foreign, right? Like saying something nice to yourself, especially in this category, if this is something you've been struggling with, it's going to feel uncomfortable to embrace something about your body that you love. But it's just like anything else. It just takes some practice because your body keeps you alive. It keeps you moving. It gives you the capability to do what you want. And so it's waiting for you to appreciate it. It's waiting for you to notice things that you love about it. And then when you do that, it just releases some of the tension and stress in your body. It's like this waterfall effect. And so the website that we were, or the National Eating Disorders Collaboration also talks about like other things that we can do. Like something that Brooke and I also really love to talk about are positive health goals that have nothing to do with the scale, right? Where you're thinking about, I really want to show myself what I'm capable of. I want to sign up for a race. That's a health goal. That's something super fun. Or I want to drink a ton more water because my stomach has been so messed up. I know I don't drink enough water and I want to just feel better throughout my day.
It's about feeling, right? Not a number on a scale. And that's something that we could do a whole nother episode on. But when you aim at getting strong, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, your life will change for the better. When you're focusing on a number, you're setting yourself up for failure. So focus on getting strong, lifting weights. There's so many benefits. And yes, fat loss might be one, but there's also longevity, heart health, immunity, mood, like the list could go on and on.
Confidence.
Yes. So switch your focus. You have that power. We can always think a new thought. Gabrielle Bernstein has the choose again method, and I love it. And I think about even when I was really struggling and I would tear apart my stomach and my health and just how awful it was, total victim mentality, switching to gratitude of, I have a heartbeat right now. I'm alive. I have a job. I have friends that love me. I have family. My hair is looking damn good today. Switching the focus on what is working, what is going well. And also taking the focus off of you. I think that's a perpetual cycle of the more you focus on you, the more you're just in your head. And so if you can get out of your head, go help someone. Yeah. Do something of service. It's the quickest way I found to tap out of feeling less than and feeling like you're making a difference.
Yeah. And something too, I think you make a good point is sometimes it's hard to make that first move about yourself because you're already struggling with confidence, you're already struggling with self-esteem and being able to prioritize your own well-being is thinking about someone else. And so something positive that you can do is setting a boundary to kind of stop this cycle, right? Because especially when you're just getting started with something, other people's comments and words can really affect us. And eventually when we've had some practice, they don't as much. But setting a little boundary with people, especially ones you love, can be a good way to kind of cut some of the friction of this. And so just saying to your friends, hey, when we hang out later, can we not talk about diets? Like it depletes me when we talk about it. I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I would just really appreciate it if we could just talk about anything else than what we're eating. Just setting that up because then that protects you and everybody else that also doesn't want to be talking about that in the room. There's always like one person in the room that's all they want to talk about. And it's not something that's that fun to talk about, right? When you think about it, it's like, go listen to a podcast about what someone's doing with keto if you really want to know more about keto, because I feel like laughing and just lightening up the mood and talking about something that makes me feel really happy. And that is not it, right?
People love talking about their problems though. Just saying. So you need to set some boundaries. And if people are commenting on your body, that is your responsibility to set a boundary, to say, let's not talk about that. Please don't comment on my body. Doesn't make me feel good. Whatever you need to say that feels right for you. And starting to practice small boundaries. I feel like right now on the podcast, we are talking a lot about boundaries. Like every guest we've had on in the last month has said something about boundaries. And so it's scary. It's foreign if you've never set a boundary. So practicing, like doing the ladder approach, like Haley Page mentioned, where you just set a little boundary and then you're starting to protect your peace.
Yeah. And a way to say that too, that might not feel that uncomfortable is like, hey, something I'm working on is I'm trying not to comment on anybody else's body.
Including my own.
And so can we just practice it for tonight? Just like to ease in it. Cause then it's on you, right? It's your boundary. It's your thing. So it's like, hey, In our household, we're really practicing not talking about bodies in front of our kids because we kind of feel like it's inappropriate. We realize how much we do it and we're trying to stop. So we would really appreciate it if you could join us in this practice of really trying not to do that around the kids.
Yeah, I like that. It's a putting it back on you. Because what are people going to say? No, I'm not going to respect your house rules. I mean, some people might.
They really might. And it might be like, okay, well, that's totally your call and totally fair. We just might not be around as much.
And like, there's the door.
And we might just leave or, whatever. We might not be in your space because we don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. And that's fine. You got to do what's best for you and your family. This is your life we're talking about. You have the power to protect your peace and you must. Something I keep thinking about is the need for asking for help. If you are really struggling, ask for help. Today's episode with Neetha Bhushan, she says that when she asked for help, it was like the valve above her just opened and the steam came out and her bricks that were weighing down on her just melted away. And that is the power of radical honesty, of saying what you need and having no shame around it. Like we said, our society does not set us up for success. Maybe your childhood, even if it wasn't in the home, but your classmates, whoever had an effect on you, this is something that people deal with for a long time. And there's always help. And it just takes you making that one uncomfortable step to reach out, find therapy, look for resources online, listen to podcasts like this. Like, commend yourself right now for listening to this podcast.
Yeah. And Brooke and I are your girls. If you feel like you're in this cycle that you cannot get out of, the women that hire us for coaching, this is like, I would say 90% of the time what they want help with first before we can even move into taking care of yourself, because it's to shift the focus away from what we look like into how we want to feel. And eventually more confidence comes, even body confidence, all of that comes. But it's just even talking about what happened as a kid. Like, so many of my clients will be like, oh, I was in like kid Weight Watchers with my mom. It was for adolescence. Or I can't even tell you how many times my mom would like pinch my love handles or, whatever it was, that it's like, let's talk about those things and recognize where this comes from and that we can release this. We can let go of this. That was not okay. We can have some compassion for it and move through that. Like, we grew up in a time that, of course, this is how we feel. Of course, this is what we're focusing on, but it's not doing anybody good.
And let's release that.
Yes.
And how do we release it? Well, it's by bringing awareness to it, talking about it, letting it go, choosing what would be a better focus for you. How do you want to feel? These thoughts, these feelings are not serving you. So what do we need to do to shift? And like you said, the weight will come, the confidence will come, the energy will come. But right now, where you're at needs some love and attention. And that starts with a mindset shift. And that is the power of coaching.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. I know that this is a lot to think about. It's a lot to unpack. And all we're really asking you to start is just to start to notice. We all do it. We all do it. And I just want to beg and plead everybody just to do it less. And just to be a little bit more aware of little ears and eyes that are watching you, because this is going to affect generations to come if we don't truly dig in and do something about this. Being the person that you as a kid would have felt safe around. Be the person that you as a kid would have felt like they're seen for who they are, not what they look like. And that says things to them that really empowers them to chase their dreams or to just do something silly or fun with. And that they can truly just be a kid and not think about these things.
Yeah. The freedom that comes with being aware, tuning in, being intentional with what you're saying and what you're thinking. You can reframe the thoughts you're thinking. You can rewire your brain, which is wild and why we're obsessed with the brain. Just because you feel this way and you think this way doesn't mean you have to forever. And that is so empowering and freeing to think. So take the step. Schedule a therapy session, reach out for coaching, listen to another podcast that dives a little deeper, has some science, has some more science that intrigues you behind it. Do the work to set yourself free.
There's so much more that we can focus on that uplifts us and connects us. We want connection with people. It's not going to be through talking about our bodies. It's going to be about truly connecting to who we are so we can truly make an impact. I really think that we can change this cycle, and I'm so happy that you tuned in so that we can do this together.
Amen, sister. All right. And for your 3 gold stars, today. First one is to start noticing how often you greet someone or someone greets you, commenting on their or your body.
2, set a health-related goal that has nothing to do with the scale. So strength train because you want to prevent injury, drink some more water for better digestion, sign up for a race to show yourself that you can.
Yeah. And number 3, decide on a boundary that you could create in a relationship that would protect you and future generations from further body obsession. For example, I don't want to talk about weight anymore. Please don't comment on my daughter's body. It would be better for her self-esteem if we focused on anything else.
Literally anything else.
I'm hoping to laugh and smile tonight, and talking about our diets just doesn't do it for me. Let's talk about your day. How are you doing?
Beautiful. All right. And lastly, your piece of gold. I hope I say this poet's name correctly, but her name is Naira Wahid, and she says, "And I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend. It took a long breath and replied, I have been waiting my whole life for this." This is GOLDIVY signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.